One might ask why another unboxing assembly video of this. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad excuse. At least the ones I saw online, like the one by RC Geeks, one by some hobby shops and so on. Yeah, they're great. I learned a lot from them. I'm using them as a help to do this, especially the one by RC Kicks. That's how I found out about from their RC Kicks building this one. I found out about in general that this one is remade, so that's why I got interested in this again. Um, I mean, they are more or less professionals in doing everything. I'm not. Um, but I'm an engineer. Um, okay, my background is in engineering. I realized a lot of difficult and complex projects, assemblies, prototypes myself during the decades. So based on that, not a problem. But I've also done a lot of repairing old equipment, like microscopic, really small detail mechanism stuff and so on. And I've learned that despite my engineering background, it doesn't mean that I will not screw up everything, and doesn't mean that I can't do things well. Every new case is a different thing, and despite my engineering background and doing a lot of massive amount of prototyping, all kind of stuff, uh, designing and building things that no one has done before, and rebuilding and repairing equipment that no one has touched for 100 years, so no one knows anymore how they was built, no documentation left whatsoever. Well, I'm still a beginner, complete beginner, so um, this video will probably reflect that. So I'm putting these, I believe they come in tire insets, like the filling. They need to straighten up. That will probably take for a while. Should I actually, maybe, I will put this, what I don't need, into this box, because my table is stuffed with my scope, with my SDRs, massive amount of tools, my GPU, server, everything. So I guess this needs to be straightened somehow. I will just cushion this a bit like this and put them there. I'll go through them like this. I hope my fingers don't contaminate the plastic, because in many of the older ones I've seen that, old equipment, I've seen this rubber foam or plastic foam or whatever you call it, different variations that have fingerprints kind of in them, etched into them. I mean, that happens maybe in 50 years or something, but yeah, well, if this device will survive that long, someone else will find my fingerprints. Normally I would just use cotton gloves to prevent my fingers from contaminating whatever I'm trying to restore or repair, but not in this case. Okay, this bag here. Okay, realistically, I'm not going to need this one anytime soon, so I'm just... Okay, this can be there. I took this out of this box, it's this stuff here, and I was thinking about keeping everything in certain order, but I think I'll just stuff these here and take them out as I need them. This I might need, but okay, soon. But glue, spare gear, definitely not needed immediately. This was something that dropped out of the thing. This I maybe better not pack. This, okay, all of this can for now go here, and as I go, I remember if I had that part, I'll just stuff them all here into the Kyosho cardboard box servo. No need, not yet. Definitely not need for the cables. Tools for the transmitter. All goes into this nice box. Keeps it there at least. Organization is always important, and storing things properly. At least I tend to have the problem that whenever I drop something, I will never find it again. So, let's see. Here's the bag. Plastic bag. Nice plastic bag. OBS text. Bag B. bit something in it. Can't see. It's wrong way around. Bearings. Pretty metal parts. I mean, the quality of the cast parts, which are then milled or machined somehow by Kyosho, they are absolutely beautiful. They're polished. But these which are stamped, I mean, they could be better. But then again, if there's any tool marks left in these, even in really old stamped parts made in Germany in 30s and so on, which are really to perfection. I mean, they polish them out, try to grind and make them like there's no tool marks ever. But I mean, it takes a huge amount of work and makes metal thinner. And anyway, when you do a coating of any sort, you tend to see what was done to it. So I guess it's okay. I mean, I've just seen some equipment that's been machined and made to such utter perfection that I'm a bit overly critical. There's springs. I think that's for attachment for battery probably. All kind of things. Bag D. I believe these called uprights. I mean where the suspension goes. Again, the RC world seems to have its own words for a lot of parts. Some sprockets, yes. Screws, sprockets. Grease. Nice. That's always a good sign. One type of grease. In some old equipment which I repair, like some of them have, like, if you manage to find an old repair manual, like for one old camera which I got from 1936, I think they define like at least 10 different greases to be used inside the device. 10 different very specific composition, which you of course can't find anymore because they had their own additives and so on. So, I mean, they were designed that way. When people say that something is bad, they can't do, well, any company can do almost any quality if they wish. And the engineers can definitely still design crazy high quality, but it's just if no one asks that from them or the customers don't want, they're not going to do that. Oh, these are pretty. I think it's a prop shaft. Ooh. They are actually, yeah, are they plastic or metal? They're metal, wow. A lot more metal than I thought. And counter gears, final gears, nice that they named them. Chain drive sprockets, belt drive pulleys. Okay, and I didn't buy the chains as I wanted to just have the belt drive. I mean, there's a reason why so many things use belt drives rather than chains. Chains have their place, but not everywhere. And it depends again how it's designed. If it's designed to use belt drive, better to use a belt drive. Shock cases. So many people, when they modify and tune things, they think they know better than the engineers that designed them. And I can assure you, often you don't. And if something was designed wrong or in a weird way, it's because the customers required, the economic department, the manufacturing required or something, but not due to the engineer. Engineers design what they are asked of. There are companies that used to have in Germany and in UK 100 years ago or so on, which did everything based on the engineer's view. The perfection is what customer wants. Those devices still work. They did their stuff to perfection. So let's see. I guess these are stickers. This is one of the parts I'm afraid of most, placing the stickers. My hand is not so accurate anymore as it was when I was younger. These are the stickers. Oh, they have some extra stickers. Cute ones. I mean, okay, you don't need to cut. Some of the laser cutting is a bit inaccurate, but yeah. I mean, considering the positioning accuracy you can do with stickers like this that tend to flex and warp, it's okay. I've seen much worse. Lots of stickers. I wonder if all of these go there. Not sure. I think I have to put these away for now. Oh, this is the one everyone online is talking about, this pre-cut, what do you call it, which you put before painting. Yeah, I have to say I'm not a terribly good painter, never was, always left that in my job to someone else to do. I love a good painting though. I've been trying to replicate some old painting styles and paintings of 1930s and 20s in equipment, and yeah, not an easy one though. Many of them are very toxic paints and I don't have the quality. Okay, here's the manual. Um, Flathead self-tapping. Oh, there's self-tapping. That's a bit scary because that's the one you can so easily screw up. Maybe that's where the word comes from. You over-tighten and you destroy the threads. It's called a screw up. Okay, I remember reading somewhere that somewhere here was a typo in some of the parts description, but okay. Better put this away somewhere to safety. Oh, the gearbox. Okay, so you start open bag A, bag B, bag A. Plastic. This is a plastic bag, yeah. There's some metal parts here too. Does it mean I need to open which plastic bag? I think in many of the reviews they don't write all the cock-ups, so they just done this so many times before that. Okay, plastic A. I ran out of battery and in my phone, and I had no choice but to continue for a while without actual recordings. Well, there wasn't much anything to see. So I pretty much continued according to the instructions, and so this is where I'm now. I'm a bit apprehensive since some of the instructions I read somewhere else noted that there's a typo here. Hello again. After building this for a while, I decided not to continue videoing everything. It was quite boring, so I'll just go through some of the stuff which I observed. Well, I have these really expensive Kyosho metal parts like this one here, and this one here, and like the servo saver, which is full metal, and this hard support. Well, they're nice quality, I have to admit, but not all is perfect. I mean, finishing of some of those parts are a bit missing. I had to finish them myself, like some edges of holes which have been drilled but not really grind, so that they have some remains of machining there. Bearings didn't go all in place. There was a typo in the manuals regarding these screws, attachment of this torsion or whatever this bar is called. Wrong size of screw, but I found that out from a YouTube channel, one that assembled this car and made it. I've been using this thread lock everywhere, but I mean, where they recommend it, but based on my experience in engineering, if there will be a lot of vibrations, especially caused by the electric motor, which is basically a brushless one, which is naturally vibrating a lot, and other stuff, I think I would be happy to have most everywhere here thread lock. So yeah, I'm a bit suspicious about the recommendations. The same with this grease one. They added only certain spots, however, there was multiple spots which should have actually grease to extend the lifetime and increase the efficiency of the device operating. Yeah, there was problems with these plastic parts. They were not machined all together. Or let's say the design of these parts was not perfect. They were rubbing on other parts here. No matter how you installed and measured, and not always perfect from the plastic casting. So that required a bit of filing adjustment. There's a bit of here and there things which I mean, it's beautifully made, admit. I have no experience on how well these are generally made, and like some people reviewing other cars saying that like these are the best. Well, I'm not sure if I want to try the worst of RC cars, how well they're made. From engineering point of view, there's still a lot that could be done here. I mean, I have to say, this is nicely done. There's some design decisions like regarding some bearings, like these are the differential. There's some insulation seals there, which I don't understand what's the point, because it's not an oil-filled gearbox. So why? There's a lot of funny features here which I'm not entirely understand. Like some of the adjustments, they're not mentioning showing pictures at all. I guess I need to figure them out by myself. A lot of the special parts have their own balls, and what else? Well, yeah, some of this don't make much sense. I mean, this one here, we have this bar, and in the picture, this one was mentioned. I had to bend it a bit that it doesn't hit this, whatever axle here is. I don't know yet what it's for. Some of the, like these very expensive additional Kyosho upgrade parts, the bearings didn't go all the way properly in, so that I had to fold them out a bit so that all the tolerances would be okay and everything would work. Same as with these. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks. I mean, it's like there seems to be like some very high quality parts, some less high quality parts, some very well made ones. And I mean, from engineering point of view, I can see a lot of, I mean, maybe these are designed by hobbyists, some parts. I mean, the point of view is that from engineering point of view, some of these solutions seem a bit cheapish, awkward. Some of them I understand because of the economic constraints. You need to price it at a certain price range. I mean, as an engineer, I know there's a lot of different criteria for design which you can have, why to choose what. So that, and I also know that whatever you design, however well you design, when to make, from engineering point of view, there's always the economics or sales department interfering, saying, oh, we can't have this because of this, and we need to lower cost by 1 cent, so we need to remove this. And often those decisions from engineering point of view don't make any sense whatsoever. But I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, otherwise, it's quite beautiful. It's quite beautiful, quite nicely made, so I'm kind of happy up to this point, though. They don't really explain some of these adjustments. I know what this is for. It's kind of to basically stabilize the behavior of the back part. I mean, they're flexible, but they're connected to each other so they don't start bouncing up and down uncontrollably. So it's part of the stabilization. So they could definitely knew how to consider like the stability of the suspension, the control system of the car itself. There are some tolerance issues which I'm also a bit wondering why. I mean, I don't know. On one hand, it's quite a complex thing to design like this. So, yeah, I really like assembling this device despite the small annoyances. Okay, next I will continue with the upper board, though I couldn't get original Kyosho holders for it, so I got some aftermarket from Korea, I think, which will hold it in place, metal ones. And I also wanted to have the servo holder metal. That's still in order. The local Kyosho rep couldn't tell when it will arrive. They said there's a serious problem in getting any Kyosho parts. Yeah. And I got myself the nice carbon, as was recommended by RC Kicks. Yeah, my fingerprints all over the place. I mean, I'm used to assembling some really, really complex stuff. And as such, this isn't that much of a, I mean, I've done so complex prototypes, build, design myself, assemble, notice the mistakes I make, redo. So, but I like the fact that I don't need to think about all that stuff, which normally I need to do in my work. So just assemble, and maybe small details, things like this, but they're not a problem for me. I mean, yeah, maybe if I was a professional RC person or assembling a lot of this wouldn't be a problem. But I'm making this from point of view of a engineer that's basically a beginning, not a old learner from RC again and trying to understand how this go. I mean, it's been decades since last time I assembled anything related to RC or miniature models, anything. So yeah, I took this carbon fiber one here. So this one will go next somehow there. Okay, there are still a lot of questions which I don't entirely understand function of some parts. Some of the parts are a bit awkward how they're placed, but I hope they will resolve themselves soon. Otherwise, it's one very pretty. Though I think I will, when I go outside driving, I will put some duct tape underneath this floor protection here, bottom protection, so that it doesn't scratch it all the way to oblivion, because I really like the cold color. Yeah, and this Kyosho, I mean, it's a nice combination. I wish they would make this also in an aluminum option, but I realized that since you have metal on one side and you have the metal on one side and then you have plastic on one side, this I really don't understand. Why they couldn't make this from metal too? Or the whole is, I know, yes, it would have been heavier or an option part, but it would have made a lot of things easier. Okay, one thing, I think they want to reduce the vibrations, that they get the screws loose, as it's easier to attach them to plastic, that they don't vibrate and the screws don't get loose. Metal with metal against metal is tendency, you need the screw lock for that. Really tiny. I wanted to have more screw lock, but I had a problem because my screw lock had dried out. I need to go buy new ones. My screw lock completely, maybe the case leaked and it's all right. But basically you have a friction steel connection between, okay, the axle here, but against plastic, that's better to have that one then and here. If I would put all metal, eventually it would rub more against this one. It should be lubricated or somehow that it wouldn't destroy it. So it would need to be preferably metal all together. I think that's why I think the plastic is a better choice here. As I see how this is made. So I think plastic is better in this case. So I think they have made a good balance, and I understand now why their only options for metal additional stuff is like this joint here, which makes perfect sense. This one here, the servo saver, this hard support. This was a bit suspicious because I was thinking actually the plastic might be more flexible, but yeah, I just took it out of view. And then the servo holder, which I'm hoping I will just put the plastic one here and hopefully I will get the servo holder here, whatever it will be later. Yeah, I mean, I understand. You could make this even way better, but the price would become astronomical. I mean, even with these parts, the way well they're made, I mean, they are expensive, but I do understand why they are. So, because I got compared some Chinese copies I got, and they're nowhere nearly well made as this Kyosho's own. So the price difference comes from somewhere. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I'm definitely going to, after this one, get some other stuff to assemble. I still don't know how I will feel about driving one of these after so many decades. If I will still enjoy it or not, but at least the assembly part is really nice. It's really fun. And yeah, you can see the belt moving around. So it doesn't make this sound when I wrote it from the motor. It's just to the differentials. Okay, be back after the radio plate or whatever is on top of this one. For this radio plate, I tried these from China or whatever these ones, kind of holders, but they failed completely. Well, these ones look that they're made very well, but when you put them in place against this plate, it wouldn't go straight. So there was parts in it that are not supposed to be in the real design. There's like in the corner, there's some piece should be cut out and so on. So I decided like, okay, I'm not bothering with these. So the same was with everywhere else, that they didn't really fit well into this one. So what I've learned so far from all the parts which are non-Kyosho, which I bought, forget them. Easy to use Kyosho parts. I mean, they are a lot more expensive. I mean, those are like few euros. What's the two of these? Kyosho equivalent, much more expensive. I don't have those. I couldn't get those anywhere. But from like point of view of strength anyway, this is a carbon plate on top. So I don't believe it really matters in this one. Strength-wise, and since this is plastic, black, I would rather have this made from aluminum. But since this is plastic, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to use the Kyoshos, which came with the kit. They fit perfectly. No surprise there. Fit perfectly. No surprise there. But then I got the carbon plate, which is a Kyosho accessory. I already attached the battery holder and some knobs and bits there. But surprise enough, when placing this one, it didn't fit. It didn't fit. And I was thinking, okay, is it just a problem in this one? No. I took with this one too. Well, they said you need to file it around a bit and so on. Definitely, yeah, even this one doesn't perfectly fit. Needs a bit of tuning. Well, this is the original one. This is the Kyosho upgrade one. So, okay, I adjusted a bit and need to adjust quite a bit in different places. Sealed the edges so they don't start to fray. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Like, I mean, what's so big? I think the big problem here is that certain cast parts, like this one here, the plastic part here and the plastic part for the rear differential, these are, they have some variance in the dimensions and in the tolerances, how they're manufactured. So they're not, I think, to the specs of accuracy. I noticed it elsewhere too, compared to the metal parts, which are really perfectly made, most of them. No, metal parts I think are perfectly made. There's some idiosyncrasies in how it was designed, but otherwise perfect. But I think if this was made from cast or metal and adjusted better, it would make this more uniform and this adjustment, and therefore make this more accurate. So I wonder if they just put more stuff in certain parts so that you can file them away and make it work. Well, that's what I did. I mean, I don't see this mentioned anywhere being done. I mean, everyone is talking about when you assemble RC cars, other than Kyosho, that you need to file and fiddle and try to adjust and everything. As an engineer, I mean, I have a background in mechanical and other fields of engineering too. So, but from mechanical engineering point of view, I don't see the need why they had to do them, or why these different manufacturers have to do them so, to be honest, is it badly? I mean, is it the cost? I doubt it. I think it could be just designed in a way to be cost effective and still work assembly. I mean, it's not impossible. So I struggle to understand sometimes why they have these problems. Why so much fiddling? I don't want to say that maybe the designers are just don't have a background in engineering, that they can actually design this, or this different field of engineering. I don't know. I don't want to say bad about anyone, but it just feels a bit weird. Why they cannot do it? I mean, it's not. It requires a skill of its own to design and do it, but some of this stuff is also here, which is just seems a bit. I know it's 1980s design, but the fact that some is done to perfection and some not, so I don't know. Like some parts of this one was done very accurately, holds everything, no problem. And certain parts was not, so maybe that was by design that people can adjust it themselves. But then one just starts to wonder, shouldn't you do here something that people wouldn't need to do this? It just goes in place. Well, I don't know. Difficult to fathom the ideas of the engineers, of these designers of these devices. So, the plate is in place, radio plate or whatever it's called. Opened the suspension package, started doing the shocks, basically shock absorbers, nice golden plated, or I mean anodized, I guess. Shock cylinders, here's the pistons, piston rods, and I mean, most of it was easy to assemble. These lock rings, really annoying. I mean, I should just have a better tool for doing this. I guess I have to buy one if I want to do more of this in the future. Having this, since these ends here are metal, and these are plastic, was a bit like, couldn't them, okay, well, since they're attached anyway to metal, like whatever it's these ones. Oh, actually are they? Wait. I'm not, I think they are. So anyway. I mean, if it works, these simple plastic parts, fine. We will see. Yeah. And I still don't quite get it. I mean, I think this is a device for tightening there, as it's shown in the picture over there. But why did it come with two? I don't like this piece too. I mean, is it just that they do, because some of these parts you need more than what's in this one. But maybe they're spares, some of these. They just put two of the same mold there. Yeah, I guess cheaper to do one thing. One of these, I think people call these trees or whatever. Yeah, and did the tires according to instructions in the web. I mean, first part was easy. Gluing, not easy. I mean, I got this kind of rather expensive, but seems to be good. One, still liquid, hasn't solidified. Cyano-accurate glue. And then when it's supposed to put some people say you need to bend it and put bead inside and so on. Well, yeah, I did. It's not easy to make it clean and nice, so definitely need some practice with it. I mean, yeah, these ones, that glue came with a kind of a needle thing. I thought it would be good, and like they recommend use a needle, that would have definitely been easier and cleaner to work with, but then suddenly, as you can see there, the needle fell off. Yeah, so I mean, I think the problem is that there should be like an online list of recommended tools for people making RC. I mean, I have a massive amount of tools for all, which I've gathered during decades for all kind of things, but there's always something special you notice because it's a small size or that specific tool is good for assembling RC cars. So it would be nice to have someone professional make a list. What you really should have to make it easy. Not just say, yeah, just use those tools, don't waste money. No, I learned in my profession, and to do proper job, you need proper tools. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, I'll drive with these. These are quite soft. I think I will buy different tires for more of my driving with this one. And I kind of don't like the way these look, but, and anyway, I ordered online metal ones, metal rims, which I was planning to make golden ones, put on this one. So let's see how they will look. But they are still on the way in the mail. So yeah, tires.